Okay, this is a video. A lot of people, guns seem to be a political issue for a lot of people, and they don't need to be. You know whatever you believe on gun control, whatever you want, don't want, you know, that's fine. But people need to understand that guns are just tools. That's all they are. It's a tool, it's the best tool that's out there right now, physical tool, besides your intelligence and your awareness and things like that. But physical tool, in case something happens to where everything else failed, you had to go into an area, you ended up at a Walmart and something was happening, you know, bad things happen to good people all the time. A firearm is just a tool. That's all it is. You know, a lot of people, and I guess liberals are really the worst ones for this. And I don't say liberals in a mean sort of way. I'm very liberal on a lot of things. I am not a conservative. I am not a liberal. I'm an independent. There are some things, for example, I'm an atheist. I'm very liberal when it comes to religion and science. I'm all for gay rights. I don't know where I stand on abortion. I'm okay with it as long as there's no conscious being. Not, I'm against partial birth abortion. I think that's terrible. Do it sooner. And lots of other various things. But guns are just tools. And it's the best tool that you can have to carry around to protect yourself, have in your home in case somebody breaks in on you. That's all it is. Cops carry them, things like that. Gun control, there are some things that I'm okay with. For example, and the slippery slope argument is true. You give them an inch and they tend to take a foot. We've found that that's very true. Us gun people, I consider myself a gun person and a Second Amendment person as well. Those people tend to do that. The Democrats. The Republicans, on the other hand, what they tend to do is, misunderstand the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment, if you really want to understand it, read the Federalist Papers and what the Founding Fathers said about the people being armed. For the most part, just having gun laws alone is infringing on your rights. The Founding Fathers believed that, of course, you have a gun. Of course, you carry it around. You bear it. Of course, you protect yourself with the gun. But here's why we're going to acknowledge that you should have a gun, in case you have to overthrow your own government if it becomes tyrannical. Thomas Jefferson said that we should have a revolution about every 10 years. I mean, okay, he was the third president of the United States. George Washington said firearms are the people's teeth. Thomas Jefferson also said no free man shall ever be debarred the use of arms. I mean, it's pretty clear that a lot of them said a lot of things pro-gun. But, Republicans need to understand that back then, people were better trained on how to use their firearms. They had to hunt to live, so they had to know how to use them. They had to know how to clean them. They had to know how to maintain them, load them. Today, we see people getting a gun and they don't have a clue. That's why they're in drive-bys with gangbangers. They shoot 13 other people. So we've got to come together, the pro-gun and the anti-gun. And the anti-gun are 10 times worse. I mean, common sense gun laws that clearly aren't common sense, such as, you know, having a blade on a pistol grip on an AR-15, or not even allowing a pistol grip on an AR-15. That's going to make it safer, believe it or not. And various tons of other stuff as well. But, you know, we all need to come together on this whole gun thing and understand it's a tool. And in the right hands, it's a great tool. In the wrong hands, it's a very bad tool. Once we acknowledge that it's a tool, maybe we can sit at the table and say, you know what? For example, I tell you what, everybody can carry a gun if they want, no permit needed, but can we have an 8-hour class? Just a safety class. Doesn't mean you will or won't pass, it just means you have to acknowledge safety rules. And then if you violate, you know, shooting into a house, you know, to get a criminal shooting through the walls like a police officer here in Louisville, Kentucky did, you're probably going to go to jail, and it's going to be pretty stiff. But there are people, you know, on the Democrat side, there are people who did nothing wrong. They had an empty magazine in their suitcase, forgot about it, completely forgot about it, took it on an airline and are facing criminal charges. That's ridiculous. That's not common sense. That's ridiculous. So, you know, there needs to be like maybe a commission, a committee of people who understand guns, you know, and people who want to who understand gun control, that are able to sit down and recommend things to, you know, without violating our right. Because the Second Amendment does say this: a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I think I got that exactly right, but I'm pretty sure. But yeah, there needs to be some compromise, and not, you know, some of these, you know, in this committee that's taking place now, some of these things are just stupid. I mean, dumb, asinine, and dumb. So we're never going to accomplish anything. We're never going to have some rules and regulations without violating anybody's rights. AR-15s don't need to be banned. It's a rifle. It shoots bullets that do a lot of damage. Guess what it has in common with every other gun on the planet? The same exact thing. It does a lot of damage. And then what's Joe Biden come out and say? Oh, well, 9mm are lung busters. They blow your lungs out. These are people who are idiots when it comes to guns, and they need to acknowledge that they are stupid when it comes to guns. On the flip side of that coin, many people who are, you know, you should be allowed to have whatever you want, and honestly, you should. That's the Second Amendment does, you know. But there does need to be some regulations, some rules. You know, maybe something like allow everyone to carry a firearm, and anyone who buys a firearm goes to a one-time 8-hour class. Just basic safety. You'd be surprised how many people don't know the 4 basic safety rules. That's one of my videos, and you need to watch it. That's not my rules, that's the rules. The 4 basic safety rules when it comes to handling firearms. The rules, not mine. The rules. You know, once upon a time we had a cartoon character who went in schools, Eddie Eagle, and taught kids how to be safe if they seen a gun. Now, you know, unless it's a, you know, a lawn boy book of pedophilia, we can't have it. What's going on? You know? But it's a tool. That's all it is. It's a tool. You can do a lot of damage with cars. You can do a lot of damage with hammers. More people are killed by fists and knives, blunt objects, every year than they are by firearms. 60% of all the firearm deaths are suicide, and those people are going to commit suicide anyway. I think it's like another 20% or something. Don't quote me on that one. 60 to 65 is suicide. Another big percentage is gangs and things like that. A very small percentage is, you know, things like mass shootings. Very small percentage. And even a way smaller percentage of those, ARs are used. Rifles are really small. And on top of that, ARs, which is a rifle, not a machine gun, just a rifle, is even way lower than that. You're more likely to be beat to death than you are to be shot with an AR-15 in a mass shooting. That's true. Look up the numbers. FBI's and CDC. But it's just a tool. Quit looking at it like it's some kind of a dangerous thing. It's not. My guns have never attacked me, and yours won't either, unless it's a SIG P320. Just don't drop it. That's what I was told once. I got rid of it immediately. You know, but, and yes, gun companies can be sued. They get sued all the time. Republicans agree that a gun company should be sued, like Sig Sauer made a firearm that could be dropped and go off, and it wasn't supposed to. Liberals think that if someone uses a gun illegally, like to rob a liquor store, you should be able to sue Smith & Wesson. That's stupid. Another stupid gun law. Common sense gun laws. Smith & Wesson can't help it that some idiot uses a firearm. No more than Ford can help it if some idiot uses a Ford Ranger to run people over, or a DUI, or a drive-by. AK-47s, AR-15s, they're just rifles. That's all they are. They do a lot of damage because they're rifles. They have a much higher velocity than a pistol. And way more crime is used with pistols. In short and in summary, we all need to come to the table and figure out how we can work together, not against each other, because we're never going to accomplish anything. You know, just like having cops already there in schools armed with AR-15s. It's common sense. You get your gun control and we get our gun love, or whatever you want to call it. You're going to call the cops anyway, so why not have them there? Most schools have resource officers anyway. Just teach them how to use rifles. Teachers, if they want to have a gun, nothing wrong with them having a gun. A gun is a tool. It's an object. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's not anything. It's just an object, like a brick to build a building. In summary, we're going to have to come together and sit down and talk and try to figure this out. And guns are just tools. All right, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks a lot. Be safe and stay safe.